Ladies, gentlemen, am I often forgotten, but certainly not by me, Frozen Cores. Welcome to the channel and welcome to a new video. This video is kind of an update to a previous guide I made, which was a magic guide for hard mode kerapac, and this is for a new method that I use on kind of the top end as a personal method, and that is hybrid kerapac. I started bringing a melee swap to deal with phase 2, and I was originally going to make this video about a month ago, but with the introduction of vestments and the whole, I was in the middle of making the video when kind of the leak came out for, or the showcase, I should say, for vestments armor, and so I decided to put this video on hold until I got a hold of vestments and made any necessary changes to my rotations to then add into this video. Also, a quick note before we get into this guide, I am not including any budget version of this preset. There's not really any benefit to doing hybrid with lower tier gear, being that you're not taking advantage of any special attack cooldowns that you may have. Simply because with lower tier gear, you can just keep using sunshine rotations each of the phases, and it works out very nicely. The only reason that hybrid ever came into existence is that the time warp ability does not reset your weapon spec cooldowns. So if you're using easy K every phase or FSOA spec or anything like that, you're not able to reset those cooldowns and have them available again for the next phase, being that each phase is going much faster than a minute. Without further delay though, let's go ahead and get into this guide. So taking a quick look at my preset, it is just standard hybrid stuff. You have magic and melee gear here. I do use the Lang Swords as my bladed dive swap, being that magic has mobile on it already, so I don't need to bring anything that has mobile on it. I do bring a physical easy K just for inventory's sake. I could bring the easy K EOF and just use the spear as my two-hand, but I'm usually kind of lazy when it comes to swapping around binds, and I haven't really seen the need for the easy K to be inside of an EOF for this boss, and it's just a simple thing for me where all I'm using it for is the spec. I hit a dismember and then I swap back to magic and use combust, and just end up using magic for the rest of the damage. That's all it's for outside of the berserk, so use whichever one you have. It's not going to make too much of a difference, and if anything, the easy K in an EOF will help you if anything, so go ahead and bring whichever you have. Bless Flask is there just for the fact that I'm on Calg Demon. Calg Demon is the best in slot familiar for magic, and for melee it does help out a lot, and it's not going to be worthwhile to familiar swap because you're only using melee for its zerk on phase 2 and a little bit of easy K damage, and so it would be pointless to try and familiar swap in my opinion. I do bring in T90 shield. Normally a planted feet swap would be there, but with the release of Zamorak, Greater Sunshine came out, so it just saves the spot, and I swapped it out for just a regular shield to get some better reses off and kind of help out with that. Channeler's Ring is there for phase 4 on the first 2 echoes and the third echo sometimes. I like it there just for accuracy's sake, being that the Slayer task does not work on the echoes. It makes it easier to get damage off on them, even though it is not technically the best, and I could G-staff them. However, I do notice some splashing from time to time on my wild magic, and it's fixed on this first echo during the waiting period for time warp to come back, so honestly, I just find it easier to bring the Channeler's Ring. Food is just standard food. It is blue blubbers and brews. I do bring a Vit Pot to do the Vit Pot method for the third echo. It makes life a lot easier. I think there's a new rotation, well, it's probably older now, but for me it's kind of new, where you don't bother Vit Potting and you just kind of instantly speed through the echoes as fast as you can, and it ends up saving some time, but I haven't really experimented with that too much. Maybe on stream I'll play with it a little bit later on. But personally, I just do the Vitpot method for P4, and then I'll show you the rotation that I use later on in this video. So the relics that I use are Death Ward, Conservation of Energy, and Fury of the Small. This is kind of just a standard relic loadout, so to speak. With Vestments armor now being in game and making melee very adrenaline free, it is not, you know, kind of adrenaline starved as a combat style. You could probably get away with Zerk Fury and either Font of Life or Het's Blessing or something like that. Any of the kind of lower tier free relics in the third slot, whatever works for you. Although I haven't really played with it too much. But personally, I just keep it simple with these 3 relics, and I figure I'll just make a note of that real quick. Alrighty, I have the kerapac preset loaded up here. Real quick, I just wanted to talk about how I do my hybrid swaps. There's a lot of people who do a lot of different things. All I do is I have each of them bound on what are thumb buttons, but I just hold shift or control to get to each combat style respectively. So if I want to go to melee, I just hit control, I hold it down, and I just kind of roll through all of my thumb buttons. Oh, and unequipped it. Oops, I was confused there for a second. And then if I want to get back to my magic, I just hold shift, run through the same thumb buttons, and that's about it. And then if you just roll your thumb across them fast enough, you can just do it in one tick. And it's not entirely too difficult. I found that as an easy way to just hybrid swap. And I'm going to do a more in-depth video later on about my keybinds, my bar setups, all that fun stuff, but that's not what we're here for. I am digressing a lot, and let's go ahead and just do a kerapac kill. Grab adrenaline. One person. Make sure hard mode is enabled. I almost always forget to enable that. And then we surge. Surge again. And then I always like to walk forward 1 tile. Wait from the finish, say always you, and then I TC with a smoke cloud into a G-conk. Usually a D-breath, but I had Rack and Ruin, so I use it there. Then I do an auto tsunami into a staff spec, run under, and G-conk. Wild magic, 2-hit asphyx. I probably shouldn't have 10Ds, but I'm gonna 10Ds anyway. Into a staff or an ABS spec, into a G-conk, an ABS, and since I did the G-conk, I can back-to-back here, even though I kind of missed the tick. And here, I'm just gonna conk, wild. And then now I'm just gonna swap over to my armor set, a little bit of adren as he's phasing, and then do a lang spec, dismember, anticipate, time warp zerk, and I barge, assault bleed, and limitless into destroy. And after this, I press overpower, run under, and do assault destroy again. And after this, I'll go ahead and hurricane, and then decimate, cleave, and then go ahead and easy K spec, dismember, combust, and then just get some bleeds going, and then just start threshing him down. Here I'll go ahead and asphyx for just a couple hits. Now I can go ahead and get my tsunami off, make sure my calc spec is up, try and get to 100 as quick as I can, and then start a time warp sun, and I'll G-conk, second a bill, staff spec, and then 10Ds with limitless. Omni, run under. Oh, that was a mistake. I thought I had asphyx up. Oh, we'll just keep going. We'll do an ABS. We'll do a 3-hit asphyx here. Rack and Ruin. E-breath to wild magic. And we'll kill this thing real quick. Then I go into this one. Get my Vit Pot. And this is pretty much like a standard magic B4. Time warp on this guy. Limitless into a wild magic, and then auto asphyx. Omni power to finish him off. Wild magic, ice rack and ruin. Do another ice rack. And I'll just do a 2-hit asphyx with a bleed. That should finish him. Do a res real quick, just for some HP, and then we'll go ahead and... Oh, did he not? Okay, he did finish. I do 2 abilities here. Auto Tsunami into a staff spec. Time Warp into a Devotion. He's dead, and then I'll do a double Tendi soon and Omni. So we get that off here, and then I just go right back into Tendies. Then I have an Omni power, and that should finish him off for the kill. And there it is. That's a rough example kill. As you can see, I kind of goofed P3, but you know, this is me PVMing. I make mistakes all the time. No kill is ever perfect, honestly. And that's just kind of how it goes. But hopefully, seeing how that Zerk worked on P2, as you can see, Vestments allows you to just shred on a Time Warp Zerk, being that you have a lot of adrenaline. You can get up. You can switch from magic to melee earlier if you like, and prolong P1 a little bit more, just to get yourself to 120% adrenaline for your Time Warp Zerk if you'd like. Personally, I don't do that. Personally, I usually just send. It was a little bit difficult to commentate that, but you know, it is what it is, and that's probably why I made some mistakes. However, as you can see, it just absolutely shredded through. You can get 2 assaults, 2 destroys, an overpower, and a hurricane, and it just melts. And then you just go into the easy K spec with 2 bleeds. And honestly, I don't see too much of a difference between easy K, just the physical spec, or having the EOF. But if you just have the EOF spec and you don't have the physical one as your cleave swap, use that, it'll be perfectly fine, and honestly might even help you a bit more than just the standard easy K. Ladies, gentlemen, and I did not forget about you Frozen Cores, thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe for future content. I'm going to be doing a lot more guides, and maybe even a new series coming out here in the near future. Stay tuned for that anyways. I'm Car Guy, have a wonderful morning, evening, afternoon, nighttime, whatever it is, wherever you are, and I will see you next time for the next video. Peace.